Well, hello. Welcome once again to Stuff and Things, where I like to talk about stuff and occasionally the things. I'm your good friend Bradley, and today is a Stuff and Things special report. That's right. It's finally time to delve into some of the big news about the Scandinavian Tobacco Group with the Mac Baren and Sutliff acquisition. I have some information. Now, over the past few weeks, I have been trying to vet some of this information. Well, first of all, I've been trying to grab information about the STG acquisition of Mac Baren and Sutliff. So bear with me through this. I want to talk to you a little bit about the process of getting this information and then the process I was trying to go through to vet this information. This will be kind of a longer video. I will be reading a lot of things off of my computer and off of these notes that I have here. I want to try to be as careful and comprehensive as I can be. I don't want to leave out any of the information that I have, but I also don't want to misspeak. I don't want to say things that I don't know are true. I want to be as clear and concise as I can possibly be here. So we all heard in around June, July, that STG, I'm going to refer to the Scandinavian Tobacco Group throughout this video as STG. STG had acquired Mac Baren, and through Mac Baren, Sutliff. Sutliff, one of the last remaining producers of pipe blends in the U.S. We still have Cornell and Deal. Let's hope they can hang on. But they have been acquired by Mac Baren quite some time ago. Mac Baren owned Sutliff. STG acquired Mac Baren and Sutliff. People were waiting for what was going to happen. What was STG going to do? I kind of complained online saying that I've been trying to get in touch with anyone from Sutliff, from Mac Baren, and from STG to get some information. Finally, a very interesting person reached out, and under the condition of anonymity, they revealed some information to me. Now, this person is internal to Mac Baren. They've asked me, obviously, not to reveal their name or their position, and I'm going to be very careful not to do that. So how do I know who this person is and if they are who they say they are? Through the process of corresponding with this person, I am pretty damn sure that they are who they say they are, and I'm pretty damn sure that the information they have given me is correct. They have given me some internal documents from STG, which outline and sort of illustrate some of the things that they were telling me about what STG plans to do with Mac Baren and Sutliff. They've asked me not to show those documents because not very many people have this, and it would make it easier for the powers that be to know who they are. So again, I'm going to try to respect the anonymity here. I reached out to STG through the only avenues I could find, just contact pages on their websites, to try to get to somebody to run this information by. I wanted to give them a chance to respond to this information. Didn't hear anything for a while. Finally, I heard from someone named Leonard Wartzel, who offered to have a conversation with me over the phone. But when I responded, asked when we could do that, I have not gotten a response to my response. And it's been well over a week. I wanted to give them the time to respond to this. I wanted to vet this information through them to see if they would confirm or deny it, to have them maybe give an explanation for some of the stuff that I'm going to be telling you. But as of now, I have not been able to talk to anyone at STG. I've not heard back from them, and I felt like I couldn't wait any longer to do this video. Maybe at some point in the future, STG will talk to me and I'll have a chance to go through all of this and give them a chance to respond. So there's a lot going on. So like I mentioned, a source inside Mac Baren, and I received an overview from this source with internal STG corporate announcements detailing what will be happening, mostly with Mac Baren. That's where most of STG's, I guess, focus is. Some background from my source. Mac Baren was a family-owned company since the 1900s, and it was owned by the Hallberg family. Henrik Hallberg, the last T. Hallberg, died suddenly of a stroke in 2021, and he was also the head of the board and the CEO of Mac Baren. When he died, his nephew, Frederick Hallberg, took over responsibility for the holdings, and he immediately cut down new projects for pipe teas and ultimately forced out important people in that category, including Herr George Jensen. He would rather invest money in projects such as hotels, building a stadium, the rainwear company Elka, and they also bought Logismos, an online wine and delicacies distributor in Denmark. So, to the surprise of a lot of people this year, Hallberg was fired. Frederick Hallberg was fired off of the board. No one at Mac Baren knew why exactly until the Hallberg family posted their yearly financials showing that he had lost over 39 million Danish kroner, which is around $5 million, which doesn't seem like a lot for a loss, but they had always been profitable in the past. So the family panicked, the Hallberg family. They fired him and they offered to sell Mac Baren to STG for a ridiculously low price, $78.87 million US. Maybe sounds like a lot. Doesn't sound like a lot to me for a major company. But don't forget that they bought the smaller tea company, Lane Limited, in Georgia back in 2011 for $200 million. So in 2011, they spent $200 million for a smaller company with a smaller market distribution. So Mac Baren was a steal. But wouldn't this be a pipe tea monopoly? Yes, of course. But starting July 1st, any such big acquisitions and mergers must be approved by the Danish parliament. And to avoid this, STG announced the acquisitions a few days before that and signed all the documents on July 1st, making it fully legal to acquire Mac Baren without the proper approval. So Mac Baren didn't sell itself off. The family that owned Mac Baren sold them off. And it was a hard shock to most of the people at Mac Baren. So what happens next? STG took 120 days to look at their books, their sales, all of their resources, their financials, their staff, their locations, the machinery, all of that stuff. And after that 120 days, they decided to shut it all down at various points in the future. Sutliff will close at the end of the first quarter. I'm assuming financial quarter, March. I'm not exactly sure how all that works. Their production machines will be scrapped so as to avoid any of their competitors getting their hands on that production equipment. The manufacturing in Denmark for Mac Baren will close the latest in 2026 or 27. The first division from Mac Baren to go to STG Ascends will be the production of pipe tea, which will move by the latest in the first quarter of 2025. And then roll your own and make your own will continue in Svendborg. What happens to the brands and blends? The hardest to suffer will be Sutliff. They'll be selling off and delisting almost all of their SKUs. STG has an internal Plan 2028, which they hope will totally change the pipe tea market in the coming years. And there are some numbers, a graphic that I have that I can't show you, but I'll be reading that off to you. So this is crazy, gang. Now, I know this is going to be kind of dry. There's going to be a lot of information we go through here, but I want you to hear all of this. I want you to have a chance to see what is going on. So this graphic that I was given is pretty crazy. So it's the STG executive summary. It's showing brands, SKUs, and markets. There's a table here. So the brands, and the SKUs, like this is including Sutliff and Mac Baren and STG, says as of today, 111 brands. There are 3,002 SKUs. There are 76 markets. So SKUs are just the individual blends, the individual products. So today, 111 brands. Post-integration, there are going to be 95. By 2028, they want there to be 53. So less than half of the brand that exist today amongst STG, Mac Baren, and Sutliff. For the SKUs, today there are 3,002. Post-integration, there will be 1,253 in 2028 to be determined. Markets, as of today, 76. So that's just where they're selling their products. Post-integration, there will be 67. And 2028, there will be fewer, but it says to be determined. Ambition for category portfolio is to reduce brands by nearly 50%. Most of this reduction effort lies in milking and delisting tail brands. So today, 10, post-integration 10 by 2028, 6. I don't know. So before they're talking about brands being 111, I'm assuming maybe this is their own internal portfolio. Basically, everything they're showing is that they just want to completely contract the amounts of brands and the amounts of SKUs and the amounts of territories where they're selling these things. By 2028, our goal will be to have 80% of SKUs delivering 99% of contribution margin. So today, percentage of items driving 99% of contribution margin. Today, it's 52%. Post-integration, they hope it will be 64%. In 2028, they want it to be 80%, meaning they're contracting. They want to contract the number of SKUs, and they want to get a smaller number or a larger percentage of their portfolio to have 99% of their sales. So they don't want these more niche brands, more niche blends. They want to make they just want the big sellers. They just want the most popular blends, and they want to get rid of anything else. Not great. Not great. So let me look at my notes again. We have a document that this person within Mac Baren allowed me to view. And again, this is really kind of disturbing to people who enjoy the hobby. So there was a town hall on November 5th where they're going to be explaining everything that was going on. And so there's this, basically this is kind of an agenda for this town hall. I'm going to go through some of this information here. I'm not going to read all of it. There's a lot of just corpo talk that's kind of impenetrable. But basically they're saying, oh, there's a lot of uncertainty. We want to try to explain to you what's going to be happening. So the integration will start as of today. So that's November 5th, when this document was out. Integrating 2 well-run businesses to become one true global leader. So they don't even mention Sutliff because it's under the umbrella of Mac Baren. Consolidating our brands and creating a focused brand portfolio, harmonizing and simplifying our organization to drive efficiency. Yeah. So the pace of integration will be varied. There will be significant changes to both company footprints, and everything will be following the STG operating model moving ahead. So there won't be any independent. It won't be like STG has a controlling interest in Mac Baren, but they still run the company their way. No, it's all going to be consolidated into STG. Valuable synergies. They're going to be simplification and efficiency gains. One combined company, stronger towards our customers. Simon Sophus Nielsen will be leaving Mac Baren as of November 15th, so that has already happened. And then STG will assume full leadership of Mac Baren business and operations. Executive management of Mac Baren will leave the organization. They have a timeline of important people from Mac Baren, when they will be leaving and who will be taking over their job, basically. Jeremy McKenna, Mac Baren USA, he will leave the organization as of Q1 2025. Martin Hansen, Mac Baren Denmark Export, he will leave the organization by November 15th, 2024. Karsten Schmidt, CFO, will leave the organization by the end of December 2024. Walid Al-Saad will leave the organization by November 15th. He is the Ministry of Snus, Denmark. Luis Milo he's the HR, or maybe she's the HR manager, will report directly to Anne-Marie Torns Hansen, the VP of Global People Services at STG, and Sebastian Clausen from Mac Baren Company will report directly to Gleb Pugasev, the VP of Sales, Europe, STG. So they're keeping a couple people from Mac Baren, but pretty much everyone else in the executive leadership is gone. The combined portfolio will be simplified and refined to ensure a competitive foundation for the future as one combined business. Overall, we want to focus on our strongest brands and to simplify our offerings of products to our customers. Combustibles, teas, in other words. This is changing. They will reduce portfolio complexity. We will reduce our portfolio complexity significantly in relation to the number of brands and SKUs, resulting in lower factory complexity. For now, we expect to reduce the number of SKUs by around 60%. We will build a stronger and more streamlined business by leveraging our scale and market opportunities. Going forward, we'll be one team. A lot of corpo stuff going on here. Next generation product, Ministry of Snooze. I don't really care about Snooze, but again, it's all about streamlining everything, merging it all together. Mac Baren sales forces in Denmark, Sweden, and Germany will all be merged with the STG sales forces to create one sales force in each country for our customers' ease of doing business. A lot of integration about the sales force, one portfolio, one operating model. Okay, so sales, US online. Here's something. This is changing. One web shop. The two websites, www.tobaccopipes.com and cupofjoes.com, are being integrated into Pipes and Cigars, and traffic will be redirected to this website. So again, less competition, fewer choices. Great for us. Cup of Joe's, tobaccopipes.com, going to pipesandcigars.com. Transition period. There will be a transition period where we expect to sell off the remaining Sutliff portfolio via STG lane before moving remaining stock to Bethlehem around the end of Q2 2025. The distributor markets will be reviewed to simplify our route to market, blah, 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 blah. We are planning a full integration of Mac Baren operations into STG, enabled by a phased closing of Mac Baren operations. So this just talks about production in Denmark. They're moving it all to their own facilities. We expect that all production will eventually close in Stenborg, so that's Mac Baren's facility, some faster, some slower. No matter what, it will take time before all activities are transferred to other locations. Hence, production is expected to continue during 2026. So this will be a phased change. Eventually, Mac Baren facility will not be doing any more of the production. It will be all moved to STG. All fulfillment activities in Stenborg will over time be moved to existing STG facilities in Assens, expected the latest Q1 2025. So just all the production, everything's going to STG. There will be facility expansions in Assens and Holstebro for STG, basically to take over this production. But again, we're talking about a complete contraction of the Mac Baren SKUs. So they're not going to be producing much of the of the Mac Baren blends, and they want to even cut down their own blends. Denmark Ministry of Snooze. Okay, so U.S. production, distribution, and fulfillment. This is changing. U.S. production and distribution. Description of change. We are closing all Sutliff production and distribution, expected Q1 2025. All production capacity will be absorbed in Assens. We are closing all fulfillment activities in Sutliff and will move all fulfillment activities to existing STG facilities in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, I'm assuming, Q1 2025. What I'm gathering here is that they're not really going to be producing any Sutliff blends. They're going to try to sell off their portfolio, and the fulfillment, I believe what they're talking about is the fulfillment that Sutliff does for other smaller brands. And so maybe they will take over some of that stuff like the Seattle Pipe Club and things. I'm assuming, I mean, obviously Sutliff doesn't own Seattle Pipe Club. I'm assuming Seattle Pipe Club can try to go to a different company to have them produce their blends, but STG isn't going to be doing anymore, as far as we can see. They're just talking more about fulfillment operations in different companies, R&D, artwork. Basically, everything is going to STG. Nothing will be run through Mac Baren anymore. A lot of HR stuff, finance and tax, a lot of just very boring things that aren't important. So they have a timeline here. What is expected to happen now? So November 5th was their announcement to all employees in Mac Baren and STG. November 6th, manager conversions. Mac Baren managers will be contacted by their new STG manager, blah, blah, blah. Employee conversions, November 6th through the 15th. December 2024 through February 2025, employee conversions. So basically getting rid of all the employees that they're dropping, absorbing the employees they're going to absorb. Production in Stenborg is expected to continue during 2026 and into 2027 with business as usual for supporting functions too. So they're phasing that out eventually. So we get a picture here of a complete contraction and consolidation of the businesses of Mac Baren into STG of basically completely getting rid of Sutliff, of massively cutting down on the blends, brands, and SKUs that Mac Baren is producing, and cutting down on the blends and brands that STG is producing as well. So I had a response to this. I wrote back to my source and said this. I wanted to confirm some things. I was still waiting to hear back from Leonard Borsel from STG. This is a lot of information to digest. This is my email to my source, and it seems pretty much the worst case scenario that many Mac Baren and Sutliff customers were fearing. The gist of it seems to be this. Tell me if I'm wrong. STG is keeping Mac Baren as a brand, but all management and decision-making will be taken over by STG. The Mac Baren portfolio of blends will be reduced by over 50%, and all production will be moved to STG facilities. As far as Sutliff goes, it will be closed down entirely after selling off some of its brands and blends. The fulfillment it used to provide for other companies will be taken over by an STG fulfillment center in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. There's a potential for other customers to purchase Sutliff blends and brands, but STG won't be taking over the production of any of them, and soon Sutliff will cease to exist. I'm still not sure if any, because they did mention maybe some production being moved to Europe, but it seems like nothing from Sutliff will survive. I'm assuming that brands like Seattle Pipe Club will have to find new manufacturers for their blends. It seems like the entire impetus for this acquisition is less about expanding than it is about getting rid of competition and having almost monopolistic control over the market. Am I missing any other big points, and did I misinterpret anything? And the source responds, so STG will be keeping Mac Baren as a brand, correct. STG will cut down 50% of all of their brands, including their own, by 2028. For example, this is hard to hear, the X Dunhill brand has been in decline with a minus 25% volume lost the last 4 years. Negative 25% every year. It's the worst selling top brand they own at the moment. It's on the watch list for 2028. My favorite blend of all time, Dunhill Elizabethan, or now Peterson Elizabethan, apparently could be gone by 2028. I find this really hard to believe because whenever I look at least US retailers, the X Dunhill blends are often top sellers. So maybe this is just worldwide. Again, this is the problem when you have massive corporations holding these brands, because if you had a smaller market, if you're looking at Sutliff blends, you could have a blend that is released in the US and does great, but maybe it doesn't do amazingly worldwide or compared to the biggest sellers in this massive portfolio of blends that a company has. A smaller company based in America could sell that blend and it could be profitable and they could do good business. But when it's a massive corporation, they don't think that it's worth continuing that blend because compared to their other blends, they can cut costs and it's not as profitable as some of these other things. That's why I hate these huge mergers and acquisitions. I like capitalism, but I like competition. I hate it when larger companies have a monopolistic control over a market. So yeah, we might be losing the Dunhill blends by 2028. Sykes-Wilford is internally discussing continuing the SPC pipe brand, but this is just hearsay from inside the industry. He's the CEO of Laudisi, so they're a distributor. You're right with your estimation about the monopoly. STG wanted to become the undisputed leader in pipe tea. So that's where we are right now. Where is STG in all of this? I've already talked about how I've been trying to get a hold of them. I had a preliminary email from someone at STG when I asked when we could actually talk. I haven't heard back from them about that yet. It's been over a week. I'm hoping that we eventually can. Maybe seeing this video, if any one of them does, will prompt them to want to respond to some of this stuff. Okay, so in closing, what do we make of all this information? It looks pretty grim. It doesn't look very good. And I would still like STG to respond to this. If they do finally get in touch with me, I will definitely include their response. I will do a different video, a new video if I need to. Right now, though, it definitely seems it's very hard to be sympathetic towards what STG seems to be trying to do right here. maybe this is smart from a business side of things, but the consumers and the former employees are the ones who are losing out on this. And it doesn't look great from a PR standpoint. You're taking companies that have existed for over 100 years, and because they don't necessarily fit into your very narrow view of how you want this market to go in the future, you're just going to completely gut them. In Sutliff's case, just completely destroy the brand. It's gone. We just did not too long ago the Old Boss blend from Sutliff to commemorate, I think it was 174 years or so of their existence, and they're just gone. They're just going to be gone like that. And that's a company that was profitable. If they could own themselves, they could keep doing business in the US. Could STG give them the opportunity to purchase themselves, to buy themselves out? Doesn't seem like they're interested in that. They want to scrap them entirely, scrap their manufacturing equipment so no one else can use it, because they want to have monopolistic control of the market. That's what it seems like to me right now. And in general, they want to contract. They want to offer fewer choices. They want fewer brands making more of the money. None of this sounds good. None of this sounds good for us, the consumer. It's a real PR loser, in my opinion. And I don't know if STG ultimately cares about that. They should. But I also don't know how important people like us are, people online who discuss this hobby. It's easy to be in this little bubble and think that, okay, this is the world. Because in this little bubble, the former Dunhill blends do really well, but maybe worldwide they don't. Maybe based upon the sales that STG is seeing, this makes financial sense to them. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know if there's any hope for anything to happen, but I wanted you to have this information as soon as possible so you can start making informed decisions about where you want to throw your business. I think we need to support the independent people out there, the independent companies, or at least the smaller companies. Very few companies are completely independent, but let's support Cornell and Diehl. I'm not talking about boycotts or anything like that. Purchase the blends that you like. But maybe if you're thinking like, oh, I haven't looked at any of Cornell and Diehl's offerings lately, maybe take a look at their portfolio of blends, and maybe there are things that could appeal to you, because we really need to throw support to blends or to manufacturers that are still doing things in the US. It would be nice if we still had an industry in the US. So I don't know. Lots to think about. Like I said, I will update you if I hear anything else from STG. But for now, that seems to be what's going on, and it doesn't seem great. Sorry I didn't have any good news for you today, gang. But until next time, until we meet again, I'm your good friend Bradley. You've been the audience. This has been Stuff and Things. I'll see you later.